Hey, Don here. Okay, we're back with another live stream. Yeah, as usual, let's go check and make sure it's working. Let's see. Stream. Okay, that part's good. Now, let's put that over there for now. Let's see. Let me get in my head what it is I'm gonna do. Okay. Yeah, I guess I better pick up my sticky note and look at it. Okay, yeah, my previous stream, well, I actually tried to restart it twice and I had trouble, so I had to stop it. Then I realized I had to eat something, so it's been a while since I didn't get back quick like I thought it would. Anyway, I'm going to go into my research. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure, I think I have some links in my bookmarks. I'm going to show how you can set which kernel to boot. Like say you've only got one that works. That was my problem, you know. And I had to the oldest kernel is the last one that would boot for about 6 kernels or something, 6 kernel updates. That's a pretty good amount of time, you know. They were doing it pretty fast, faster than usual. But anyway, finally, I was saying in the other video, finally the very last update before Fedora 32 went EOL into live started working again. So I've got 2 kernels in there that works, and I have all these other ones I saved in between. Oh, and I figured out something too. I was just happened to be looking at my file system one day not too long ago, and there was I think there's a gigabyte of space for the root where the kernels stay, and there was like I think 95 megabytes. There wasn't much left. I can't remember. I'll look in there and see. So you don't want to just. I kind of thought about it, but I didn't even check into it or anything. So I could have locked. The machine would, finally just no more space to update, and might even make it lock up and shut down. If there's like any, I don't think there's any cache written in there, but I have filled up my root drive before and had the machine lock up several times years ago. That's why I got to. I would just let Fedora do the default sizes for everything that they wanted, that it thought I needed, and they didn't understand that I installed 2,500, 3,500 programs on my system. So, and see, every time you install something, you get a little bit here, a little bit there, and so over time it filled up my root partition. I'll show those. It doesn't make any sense in your head, and so then my machine would lock up, and I figured it out. And so from then on, I always do a custom install, and I make my root and my home partitions and the boot. I was going to say boot partition is where the kernels are. It's not an actual separate partition anymore. Let's see, was it? Yeah, I think it used to be. I'll have to look. We'll look in there. Okay, so oh yeah, and the iLO. I wanted to look through iLO and see if I could get any insight into what's been going on with the system lately. I think I think what happened today when I booted it up, it hung in that one spot and just stayed there for hours and hours. I didn't do anything to it because I wanted to set up and make a video about it, and it wasn't ever going to come out, But all I had to do was just hard shut it down and then boot it again. Every type of operating system I've ever ran, Windows, Linux, Android, that's all I've really messed with. They'll do that from time to time. So I'm sure somebody would know what all that is, but what all's happening, but I don't know all the details on that. So yeah, no, still live there. Okay. Yeah, before I forget, let's see if I can even get. Okay, now that is the root partition right there. This is where the system files go. Now then, there's the boot. I don't think I can. Yeah, I can. Okay, now there's 78.5 megabyte free of 975.9 megabyte. Yeah, it's a gigabyte. It is a partition of its own, I believe. Still, well, look, I can look in this thing and see. But there's 75.5 megabytes left, and that's because of all these kernels. These are all the kernels I was talking about. Rescue, Unet, Rams Rescue, System map. There's a lot of things that are going to be in there no matter what. And then, I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them, but that gives you the general idea. That's the root of the whole file system. Okay, that's the root partition, and I'll have to look. They changed it, from time to time over the years. I'll have to look and see. But that's the boot. Okay, now home. Can't get on the keyboard. Home. I can't see. It's kind of small text in this Crusader. It's my favorite file manager, but since I'm using a 43-inch HD TV, this is a KDE based application. It doesn't mind my system settings is exactly the same as all the others do. So these are pretty small. Anyway, home. That's home down there. See, that's my directory, the user directory, and videos, whatever. That's how that works. Okay, so I always like to leave it on downloads because that's usually I leave it on downloads and screenshots because that's the things I go to the most often. Right now, I want to make sure my backup video is still working, so of my stream, and so I want to be able to look in on it. Okay, now we won't go there. Yeah, let's go ahead and YouTube uses up resources even on my, just that right there. Too many. Okay, let's go to Fedora first and see. I don't know where I put it. Is the only thing. 32. See, I did download 34, but I haven't installed it yet. But end of life. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I'm going to open that. How to freeze my kernel. I think that's kind of what I searched for. And this is on the Fedora Forums, so more likely to get good information from there. Like to freeze my kernel so it doesn't update until I want to. The one thing about these, I don't like using forums unless it's the only place I can find it, because there's always people there's just arguments on there. And people also, if you don't know very much about what you're looking for, you could find all kinds of things that sound perfect, but it's absolutely rubbish, So, because this is just people giving what they think, Okay, yeah, this is the one I used. Okay. The code, you do this in the, well, you don't do this in the command line. You do it in the, I'm trying to remember what file you do it in. Oh, no, that might be for the, oh, here it is. etc dnf config, that's it. So etc dnf, let's go over there. Okay, and you have to be root user to do any editing. You see, one can't even go in there, right? Okay, because Crusader has a cool thing. That's one of the reasons I like it so much. That you can use Crusader in root mode. There it is. It used to be red and you could see it real good. They changed the color. I haven't figured out how to fix it back. You got to put in your root password. Haven't used it in a while. Okay, this is it. So now, I got a screenshot open. That was about my stream. I don't need that. So here's regular user, and then this is root. And I coded some of this stuff it changed it all up in KDE, So I changed it to a way that at least I could tell where I was at. Okay, that's my IP address. It's not in there. Okay, I was pasting that in there. Yeah. So if you want to copy and paste, especially if it's a long one, it's hard to type, or if you see crooked and letters swap in front of your eyes and stuff like mine do, then. But you can't go to a file and it'll give you an error. That DNF that's the DNF config file. And but you can do that, copy and paste. I'm using the keyboard to do it. And then there it is right there, DNF config. Now I'm just going to hit view because I don't want to edit it. But this is my changed file. Install only, limit 50. Clean requirements on remove true. Best false. Can't make that bigger. Skip if unavailable true. Exclude kernel. That's the oldest one in there now. That's where I was a bit not 100% sure. You have to get all that just right. Exclude kernel dash and then the kernel. Well, I put 2 in there. I put it in there 2 different ways. I put just the kernel, and then I put comma space wildcard and the kernel because I did not completely understand how to do it. Yeah, and install only. I think I put 50 instead of 15. I think I put 50. Of course, you'd never get that many in there. Now I realize 7 has just about got it filled up. That'd probably basically be your max you could really save is 7. Of course, what I didn't want is that older kernel to get deleted but now that it's working, and there's not really going to be any more updates. Yeah, that's right. There won't be any more kernel updates in Fedora 32. I'm going to leave it exactly like it is. Okay, now let's go over here and that's where I can exclude equals kernel. Let's see. Yeah, exclude equals. I had to use I found several different pages on it. Add the line into DNF config. That says exclude equals kernel wildcard. And if somebody says that it worked, then that's the one I'd go with. If they don't say that, then I probably wouldn't try it in something that important. See, now there's somebody that just had to say, oh, I would go ahead and upgrade my kernel. Well, the number one reason why you would want to keep your kernel is because something's broken in an update. It does happen, and you need it, And just because the guy didn't explain all that up there at the top doesn't mean that's not why. Probably didn't want to get into it. But whatever his reason was, it doesn't matter. You don't need to tell other people what they should and shouldn't do. It's not your job in life. Nobody has that job. Except for maybe your mom, but there's a point when hopefully we'll get old enough that we can decide things on our own. Yes, very nice tip. This was the best one I found. Some other ones they didn't really explain it. I don't know what that no place like home. Oh, it's their silly joke. There's no place like home. That's silly. Kind of funny, I guess, because it caught me every time. I don't like junk that catches my eye, and it's not anything to do with what I'm looking for. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there's somebody that was saying, well, I understand why you'd want to do that. But, yeah, there's somebody that said, people who say always update your kernel haven't experienced Broadcom hell. Broadcom is usually going to be the Ethernet driver. Sometimes there may be some other drivers that's made by Broadcom, but there's somebody explaining. Let's see. Got updates that you don't want. Don't use DNF to erase them. It's got a bug that erases all kernels. Oh, really? When was this? Oh, that's 2005. So this is really old, but that's the best one I had found. Not talking about 32 and 205. That's when I discovered Linux. So this is like Fedora. Let's see, 5, 4 or 5. Yeah, 5. That's what it would be. I remember. Okay, so that bug's, well, it doesn't matter because if they didn't fix it, you can still go to the Fedora archives and download that stuff. But and I would do it for an old machine that I just wanted to make it run good again. The web browser, well, no, the web browser would never be up to date because after so long, like Fedora, like Firefox stopped supporting, it's still supporting Fedora 32, So what I always do is I download. Where is it? I downloaded Firefox 89 at the time, and I ended up installing it. I always install it in its own directory. There it is. See, .moz is where its default place is. Firefox, extension, so on and so on. And used to, it would just automatically pick up your bookmarks and everything. It'll always make a default profile, but if you do it the way I've been doing it, then you'll end up with more than two or depending on how many times you do that sort of thing, you may have, or if you've got Firefox developer version, you'd end up with 3 profiles at that point. Somewhere in there you'll have. Anyway, that's not what I'm really going for right now. But there's a lot of good reasons why you like. If you don't have time, or you procrastinate, or you've got a bunch of apps that you don't want to lose, you might not want to go to the newest version, even much less the newest kernel. I always do get the newest kernel unless I have a problem with something. It is, of course, it's going to have the newest security updates and everything. And 5 years ago, or maybe a little more than that, you didn't have to worry about it. But now there's more and more vulnerabilities being found in Linux, too. So, it is, it's best to get the newest everything. Unless it's going to really hose you up, and you can't. Like I have a Fedora 14 machine. I ran it for years, just because it was going to be so much trouble to upgrade and get all those apps back. And well, actually, they're no longer available. So. There's a lot of applications that once in a while I need them, and I'll boot it up and use it for that. Let's see, where was I? Okay, so maybe it's a feature rather than a bug. Talking about that, it's a bug that deletes all your kernels. I'll use RPME instead. Okay, he's telling you how to do that. That's pretty cool. Of course, it might be a little different now because that was with Yum package manager. Now they're using DNF. Well, that's kind of funny because I wonder if this is newer. Oh, that's join date. That always throws me off. That's not the date of the post. The post was 2016. Yeah, 2016. So at that time, I guess they were obviously using DNF because it wouldn't be there if they were using Yum. It'd be etc Yum, I think. So okay. But see, now this right here, like I don't do stuff like that on kernels and things because it's just so you could just completely break your system. And if something's broken bad and you don't know how to fix it, the easiest thing to do is just reinstall same version or the newer version. And I mean, it can easily be done in 30 minutes, hour and a half at the most. And you could spend days searching through all these kind of things and trying to fix things one thing at a time. Now here's another one. Let's see. Okay, but not okay. Yeah, here's the other thing that I did. He said he'd think it'd be more elegant to allow the kernels to update, but not update the default boot entry. Now, I didn't stop the kernels from the updates from being installed. You saw them; they're all there. I wanted them. Okay, I'm turning myself around. I just got there looking in that file, and it made sense to me then. Let's see. etc sysconfig kernel. I don't know. I think that's a file. Some files don't have extensions. Can't get it to. let's go there. I got to the wrong. I have two of them? Oh, that's, yeah. So what I did say, yeah, it was limited to 4 or 5 or something. I put it up to, I started with like 6 or whatever, and one day I looked up and just in time. I only had like one more time and it would have deleted my kernel that I was running on. And I didn't check every kernel, but I'd check every so often along the way. We're talking about at least 2 months, maybe longer. Yeah, I didn't turn off clean, but it won't try to clean until it gets to 50. Best, I don't know what that's for. Skip if unavailable, true. Okay. Yeah, I said, oh, that's supposed to keep that kernel from not getting deleted. That's what I did. Okay, that's what I did. And I wanted it to boot to that kernel, so I did what they say there. Let's see. I forgot. Oh. It's not making sense to me. It worked, though. I didn't have to manually just about everything. Of course, they're not. They're neither. If they knew what, they don't sound like. They're like kind of like I was kind of thinking too. Why they only let you. Usually don't really need them, but anyway, there's only so much space in that boot partition. You can't keep any more than what I got right now. I looked out and they just quit sending out any more out on this system. Oh yeah, I don't. In Fedora 32, I'm not so sure Grubby will work. That's an app I used to use. It's a GUI app. Well, you can do it in the command line too, but there's a GUI, and that would be definitely the way I would always do stuff like that. Tell it which one to boot. It was just a little GUI app. You could click, all the basic stuff that you'd want to happen or not to happen. Not sure if Grubby's. I'm not going to look it up now because it's beside the point. Mine's doing what I want it to do. I've just kind of gotten a little confused about how I came about it. But what the code is saying in there, I guess I'm getting tired. That's my excuse. Well, but okay, so I forgot what I was looking for. Now that's the folder etc sysconfig. Back up here where I was at. There we are. etc sysconfig kernel. That's what I wanted to see. Oh, and it gives you a link to that. I probably went to that page. I'll open it up and see. There it is. By default, the saved entry. This is the best. It's so much information, and sometimes it's a little behind on being edited. See, it starts at Fedora 7 and it's up to Fedora 26. Yeah, it doesn't even go up to 32, but it's still usually most of the time it's still good. Well, there's actually an older and a newer version of this Fedora docs too. This must be the older one, because I know there's one Fedora documentation. I know there's one for the newer ones too. The default saved entry value is set to the name of the latest installed kernel of the package type kernel. This is defined by etc sysconfig kernel by the update and default kernel directives. The file can be viewed by the root user as follows. Of course, it's in the command line, but you can do it with Crusader. Crusader is easy to do that with. It's not so easy with the other Windows-style package file managers. Okay, I'm going to skip on down. I think this is set default to. Anyway, I'm just trying to give the general idea of what this is. Kernel. Can't ever get on my home keys anymore. I don't know why. Kernel. There we go. And you don't usually need to, and a lot of times you can just hose your system when you start editing these sysconfig files. Sometimes it actually is easier. Sometimes it won't work. You edit them in a file manager like this, in a text app, and then it'll revert right back. Some of them won't let you do it that way. You have to use the command line and use the, actually you're using a command line text editor, but somehow you get the right permissions is what I gather. Okay. Now, did I change this any? New kernels is default. Update default, yes. Specifies the default kernel package by type. Default kernel core. So I didn't edit this one. I think I'm figuring out something. I think I just got lucky that skip if unavailable, best. I can't, it's been like a couple, 3 months since I did that. Oh, GNB check 1. No, that's not it. I am almost certain I got it to where it would boot to this kernel. And then I changed it back. Yeah, that's the thing is I changed it back to boot to the newest one because the newest one was the one I wanted once it started working. And in here I didn't do anything. Yeah, I don't know about edit. I didn't edit that one, so I don't know. All right, so that's what I wanted to show. I know I'm not very good at explaining it because I'm just barely hanging on to. I'm working at the edge of what I can. Well, I just don't remember stuff anymore. A lot of this stuff. I used to edit Grub1 menus all the time, and I knew how to do it. I didn't have to go look it up or anything. But now I don't too much stuff. Okay, so anyway, but you can always find out how to do stuff. It's something like in this case, it was a little harder. Had to go to a forum, pretty much, because the Fedora docs is so massive, and it's really not friendly to search through. It goes page by page. Where is it? Let's go here. This is something else, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, Fedora 32 end of life, 34 now. Yeah, okay. So that's when I saw this and I was like, oh, okay. And I really intended to go ahead and do the install, but I haven't done it. Still haven't done it yet. I do have my backups run every day, so it wouldn't take much for me to get to where I can install one. I just haven't felt up to doing it yet. My mind gets real foggy and I can't think straight often, sometimes for weeks and months at a time. So then I can't do that stuff when it gets like that. Yeah, you think I'm mixed up now? You ought to see me when I don't even know what I just watched in a video, much less reading something. It's not fun. But anyway, what is that? Oh, those are a couple of a video and a virtual release party for 34. Okay, so now what was the other thing I wanted to see? that's pretty much the basics of what I was trying to say about what you can do. And like I said, the reason I did it is because my machine wouldn't even boot. Probably I'd have screenshots somewhere. Well, actually, it's in the videos. I made 4 videos about it. So I'll put this in that same playlist once I'm done. But let's go back over here. Let's see. Yeah, I'll leave that open so that I can always check on my backup video. I closed Firefox. Didn't really need to close it. Oh, yes, I do. I know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go into VirtualBox, and I'm going to show something. Oh, I'm going to look through iLO and see if there's any errors in the boot records. That's the easiest way on the server, this server, to find out what's been going on is to look in iLO. There are plenty of logs. There's logs in Fedora, but it's pretty hard to sift through them. So ReactOS is a open source Windows NT clone. I guess that's what one of the ways you could call it. You know how they have their it's not. I can't even. Anyway, that's what. It's been around for years and years, and it wasn't really finished well enough. Finished enough to run very much on it, but now it's doing okay. So I'm going to boot it up, and I just remembered I was going to check my stream. Let's see. Please select operating system to start. I wonder if you're going to have to manually do that or what. But there's your options right there. Yeah, it goes on after about 10 seconds. So, yeah, it's actually useful, and it's much better than fooling around with Windows and all the, restrictions and all this stuff. One thing, though, some things won't work out of the box. You have to manually install, like .NET or Java or whatever. And I didn't. So you can use .NET or Java to get to your old server with. I ended up doing it in Firefox, I believe. Yeah, see, that's what I got on there. I'm not sure why there's 2 of them. I'm going to say that's the one. I'll show the start menu. It's just like it kind of looked like NT more than XP, but it's a lot like XP. It comes with some stuff. See, look at there, your little administrator tools. But this is completely rewritten. There, I installed Java, I think. Firefox safe mode, startup items. I think MyPal is the browser that they put on there. Document settings, control panel. See, it's just like Windows NT. I actually really didn't run NT. I went from 98 first edition to XP. The first one I did was Windows 3.1. Then I went up to 98. I messed around on 95 just a little here and there. A friend had several computers. But what I actually learned on was 31, 98, and XP. And I like XP. That's one of the reasons why I really loved Fedora, because it didn't look the same, but it basically operated a lot like XP, except for you didn't have to go install drivers and all that junk. They didn't used to call they didn't call them drivers in Linux. Now they're calling them drivers, I guess because nobody knew what the heck they were talking about. But they're actually not drivers if you look at the explanation of how the applications that make stuff work. In Linux, they're not actually drivers, but you can install if you can't find a Linux driver. Just still going to call it a Linux driver. If you can't, I wonder why it's saying that. I don't know why it's not going there, but hopefully there's my link to the iLO integrated lights out. See if it'll go there. If the networking's down on the virtual machine or something, it'll be a freak. I'm not quite sure. I think it's just a weird ENUS start 3 Mozilla. Oh, maybe they've changed something. Looks like it's going to go ahead and go there. I probably should change my homepage. But I usually always do. I always make it Google because it loads faster. Well, and I have two home pages. I got the one with the news I want to see, and the sometimes it'll ask you, do you want to go here, blah blah blah, and then you have to say yes, 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 but you can't do it. And this is in Firefox, not Internet Explorer. If you're using Windows XP, you can use Internet Explorer 6 or 8, 6 through 8, I think. But it's slow to load. And I've got gigabit routers. I don't know if it's because of this virtual machine or if it's because of that's the only thing, or it's because the iLO interface on the server is not very quick. You know, it may be that, it may be slow. I've forgotten the password and all that, but there it is. This is the login page. See, no problems whatsoever. Once I got it set up, I did have to like say yes, I want to go here, but it let me. You know, it didn't refuse. In the previous video, I tried it on a lightweight version of Firefox. I forgot what it was called on that other machine, and it still wouldn't do it. And I haven't found anything newer than. And this is an older version of Firefox. That's how come it works. I got that notice in the way. See what version it is. Firefox 3.6.28. So that's how far back you got to go. We're at Firefox 90 right now. That's how far back you got to go to get this to work. I wouldn't have known none of this if it wasn't for Morton on my Playhouse channel. He didn't show great details that I watched almost all of his videos, but he did it but he didn't explain great details. Well, there's so much. But anyway, after watching a bunch of his videos, I caught on enough to know. But it was still hard, but I did figure out how to do it on this machine once I got my own. This is my first actual server I've ever owned, an enterprise server. But I've been running servers on desktops for years for my websites, and well, this is my second laptop. The first one, the battery died from it running. Laptops aren't good for servers. Number one, the batteries will wear out quick when you run them for a couple of years, or a year to, especially when they're used in the first place. I'm using the laptops that were given to me, they're older ones. And the one thing that I used to like about using a desktop is you could set it, if the power goes out, when the power comes back on, it would boot back up. And I don't think there's any way to do that in the enterprise server. They expect you to have a huge backup system. That's how they do it. So, oh yeah, I want to find the iLO password. Let's see. Something else I wanted to. Yeah, okay, here we go. Now I set up a username for me using the BIOS. There's a BIOS setup for all this stuff that you don't have to. You can do a lot of it, a whole lot of stuff in iLO, but some things you actually have to go into the BIOS. They don't really call it BIOS. They give it their own names. Each brand of server does, but it looks just like BIOS in a desktop or a laptop. I mean, basically. Messed it up. Oh, I wanted to check my stream. That's what I want to do. Before I go into this, I want to check my stream. Okay. Because if I'm talking, well, I mean, it'd still be making a video, but if there's something wrong with my stream, that is okay there. Let's see. I think I'm going to close Crusader because I'm running that virtual box. Oh, yeah. It's not really a good idea to open up Firefox whenever I'm streaming and virtual. Here it is, but I don't think it's finished loading yet. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I was thinking, oh well, I could do it in. Yeah, it's still transferring data. I'm going to go ahead and try it, just long enough to check my stream. I think it's okay. Well, you know, oh no, just don't get off sidetrack. Let's see. There we go. I won't go to that admin page. It really does use a lot of resources. I'll go to my channel. Yeah, it says I'm live. And I'm going to click on it so that I can hear it. That admin page, it really does use a lot of resources. I'll go to my channel. There we go. New panel chat. Okay. Close that. Yeah, that opened up pretty quick. That other page. Okay, finally this one's loaded up, iLO. Hey, it's finally, well, it was so little I couldn't really read it. I think I must have figured out how to make the letters bigger. Probably changed the font settings in that version of Firefox. Okay, so that's the overview. Yeah, DL380 G7 ProLiant. It's an HP ProLiant. Health is good. Power's on. Yeah, we knew that. We're using it right now. Of course, this is a remote login. You can, if you set this up to serve out on the internet, you can even log into a server, you know, from anywhere on the internet. Of course, I don't have that turned on. I don't want that happening. But 14. Oh, that's the IP address of the virtual machine that I'm on. Yeah, I was like, what? I think that might be the IP address of the host machine. Let's see. Yeah, that's the IP address of the host machine. Yeah, I think I got it to share, not get its own IP. Okay, now there you can shut the thing off. You can have the light come on the front and back so you can find out which one it is in your rack. But momentary press and press and hold, you know, that's pressing the power button. So to do that, just to see what it does. Firmware, here's the IP address of iLO. And that's the default host name. I haven't, you know, I'm not going to mess around with changing that. Let's see, system information. I don't remember. I haven't been in here in quite a while, so I'll just look through each thing. Might want to go to, well, let's just go through this. Okay. Fans are all good. I have two power supplies and they're set up as redundant, but they also can share both of them together if needed. Because I got that 8 gigabyte video card and it needs 150 watts, but it came with two 460 watt power supplies and they would handle it, but it was the top of what they could do. So I ended up found some cheap on Amazon. I think what did I pay for them? I think it was $25, $26 each or something. Anyway, I got two 750 watt power supplies. They weren't as efficient. There's 3 different efficiency ratings for the power supplies you can get for this machine, and they were not the high efficiency like the 460 watt. I keep forgetting I have those. I could use them for something. You have to either figure out the pins and wire them, or actually I found a site that sells parts pretty cheap for they sell servers and parts, or bought two fans for backups, in case one of them quit. And anyway, they were real cheap, and like $2 or $3, and was free shipping. I think that was kind of, might have been something they were just doing for a little while. But anyway, the card. What I'm trying to say is, if you really wanted to use a server power supply, easiest way for something else, easiest way I think would be to get the card that plugs into the back of it, plug that in there, and then wire off of that. I think. I mean, I wouldn't want, you know, with those. It's one of those edge connectors, is what it is. Like you may have seen those on circuit boards and stuff. That's how it is made, and you could solder right onto the pins if you find out the wiring diagrams are. You can find it. I think you can find it out in those. I was showing you those manuals a while ago. The HP has every manual you can imagine available, or they did when I got this thing about 2 years ago now. There's some pages that were on the main HP site that are gone now, but I think they just moved them to another place, archive, you know. Anyway, I have all the manuals on it, and it could be done, but it wouldn't be a simple task either. I like to use them for a desktop or whatever, you know, or as a benchtop power supply, you know, be good for that. Okay, let's look at the, they tell you the fans, how they're doing and what speed they're running at. See, each fan's running at a different speed as to need, as the sensors tell it what it needs. But 1 through 6, that's how many's in it. Oh, okay, yeah. Now I clicked on temperatures. Now this is a real good thing to look at. CPU. Oh, I need to change it to Fahrenheit. I don't understand the foreign stuff. Okay. Ambient temperature is 82. So it's 82 in the closet. It's 79.3 in my room. I've been hot. 104. And caution 180. Critical would be 181. So there's no, so it's just fine. Doing really well. And then some of the other temps are lower. That'd be the fans that are running slower. And there's one that's 120, 127. But its caution is 189. It's a little different. Oh, that's memory. Okay. Yeah, the CPUs, 2 CPUs, 2 6-cores. The memories, we've got, I guess that's the rows of memory slots, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a lot more than that of slots. So that's how they grouped it together. Power supplies 120. The caution will be 194, and the other one is only 117. I thought it said 11. Let's see. System 122. 120 I/O boards. Most of mine are empty. That might be the one. That might be the. I don't know if that's the one that's the 95 degrees. That's the video card. I figured it out a couple times, but I always forget. Anyway, that one's 95 degrees. That one's 104. I would think the hottest one you find would be the one that's. Would be the video card, but I'm not sure. Let's see, and then more system temps. 111 down there. What's kind of making me wonder is, oh, and there's one. Oh, that's system 160, but the caution is 230. Anyway, it does ramp up, the fans on this video card ramp up quite a bit when I'm watching YouTube videos, more than anything I ever do. Of course, I haven't rendered any videos and edited anything on here or not yet. But anyway, it's all doing pretty good. Now, the power, I'm not sure which one of those was the video card. But see, ReactOS, if you've ever used it before and kind of said, well, it's not working that great, it's working pretty good now, at least for this. I mean, I don't know what in the heck I would use it. Well, if I had some Windows application that I just really wanted to run and I didn't want to fool around, like say it's a Windows XP, back in the older days, I do have some that, well, I've saved. I was all into Windows freeware and shareware, and then I discovered Linux. I learned, I don't have to, with Linux, you don't have to save the individual applications. Well, you could if they disappear, but I save the ISOs, the install ISOs or the live ISOs for all the distros that I tried out. I used to love trying all the different ones out. But, okay, here we go. Present power reading, 284 watts. That's not too bad for 264 processors and 64 gig of RAM. That's way better than a regular desktop. I've got, like I said, I've got two 750 watt power supplies, but one of them's going to be resting, and the other one's going to be doing the work until if it does need it, it will. High efficiency mode, auto. Power supply 1 and 2, everything's okay. Firmware 1.6. I'm always scared of updating firmware. I'm always scared I'll make a mistake on those minute details and break something. But some of it probably, some things I could update and it might be good. Anyway, the most I've ever seen is 400 watts. There's somewhere there's a place where it, shows you over time. So this, right now I'm running OBS Studio, that's a pretty heavy user, and VirtualBox is a heavy user, and I'm only using 284 watts. So, if you think servers are too expensive to run, if you're running a gaming PC, you'd be saving a lot on your electric bill to run a server, and it would have more power. The only problem you got to worry about is the processors, if you want to spend, I'm talking about a cheap server. I paid $300 for this one. It's 11 years, made in 2011. 2 cores, 24 with hyperthreading. I have seen in certain places when I was reading and stuff, they don't support some features in some new games. These processors wouldn't. There are other processors you can put in this. I don't know the ins and outs of what would support what in detail, but anyway, don't go buy a server because I don't want you to make the prices go up because I might want to buy another one. Just stay with your gaming machine. Those prices are just right. They're extremely ridiculous. They call everything a gaming machine too. Okay, 6 cores, 12 threads, 6x6, 12 on each one. They're 2.533 megahertz, 64-bit capable. And then here's your different L123 cache, processor speed again. Oh, processor 1, processor 2. Okay, that's why. I don't know why it says 6x6 cores, 12 threads. That doesn't make any, I don't know how they say it that way. Okay, memory. Now you can see if the memory is how it's doing. Is it okay? All that. Or that. Well, it's kind of more details. You'll see it says not installed, not installed. With the server, these they're all kind of different. But with this server, if you were to fill in those two blocks, it would actually make all the memory run a whole lot slower. So I don't remember what configuration you would actually be able to fill in all the blocks, but anyway, that's something you got to watch out for. Nick. There's so much in here. Kind of thinking, should I skip around now? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 built-in NICs and the iLO, which is what I'm using right now to get on here. And then a port 1, 2, 3, 4 SCSI, iSCSI. That's what I was trying to remember. On my Fedora, on my Lenovo i5, which has got, I can't remember what version it has on it now. 29, 30, 31. It'd probably be, I don't know. Anyway, I tried to set up iSCSI on it, and it was going to take way too much hand editing command config files, and I just said forget that. But it still tries to start up and slows down the startup. I was install happy. I was doing group installs. Group installs are great, but I can't resist trying things out. I was saying, and so I thought that sounds cool. I'm going to try it out. I've always wanted to learn about that, so I put it on there. I'm trying to go to the event logs. It hasn't got there yet. It takes so long to bring stuff in. It tells you down there, but I don't pay attention. Some things come in slower than others. I might want to go on down to here after, or maybe right now if it's not going to come in. I did want to look at the event logs though. I wanted to look at both of those logs. Yeah, it actually, if you try to, like couple of times I've done this onto every single thing in here. By the time, and it gets slower and slower. It must be that the iLO, server, this is what it is. It's a website on a server to tell you what's going on with the machine. It must not really be able to handle traffic very well. Either that or it's because this virtual machine is bogging everything down, because it's not running all day. But I know my temperatures are good, and I'm not running high. I mean, I've got over here. It's working. You don't usually see that, but look at there. See, 24 cores show up to the operating system, and it does use them. You can see it throwing stuff to different processors. See, and right now we're using 6.9 gigabyte of 62.8. We're not anywhere near, working this machine super hard. So it's not the machine it's not my server, it's itself. Okay, it's finally open. Now what's this? Now these go way back in date. That's 806.21, okay. The iLO link was down. Happened quite a few times, looks like. Now there's just once in a while this thing will, when you boot it up, the fans on the video card will just go through the roof screaming, and even after it boots up, if you let it wait until it boots up, they won't quit. And if you reboot it, power it off with the power button and then hard shut it down and turn it back on, it still won't quit. But if you shut it down with the hard shut it down and then turn off the power to the machine, I got a power strip that I do. I just turn off the power to the machine and then turn it back on. It'll be right again. I don't know what causes that, but just do it every once in a while, not real often. And that's why you'll see the power reset and the power restored. Well, that and when the power goes out, actually the last week I had the power go out twice, I think, in the last couple of weeks from. It's crazy. We'll have a thunderstorm. It'll stay on through the whole thing. Maybe sometimes I'll turn it off if I'm worried about it. And then after the thunderstorms are gone, 1 to 2, 3 hours later, all of a sudden the power goes off. Sometimes it'll just blink for 30 few seconds, a few milliseconds. Sometimes it'll go off for 30 seconds. And a few times we had that real bad winter. Well, it went off for most of a day. We were really blessed. We didn't lose power for a week or two, like some of them did. Just right over here in Fort Worth, there's a guy that's a popular YouTuber. He lives over in Fort Worth. I've never met him or anything, but I like to watch his videos once in a while. But he's all in 8-bit guy, I think, or 8-bit something. He's into 8-bit stuff. He still loves the stuff he did when he was a kid. He writes games, and anyway, he's always doing video about retro stuff, and his power went down and stayed down. I think it ended up being down almost 2 weeks. His water pipe couldn't heat his house. His water pipes froze. I mean, he just had a horrible time. And, let's see. So that's what when ours went out, I knew that it would only take 4 hours is about the most you got. You'd be lucky if your water pipes don't start freezing at that temperature, but it was really low. Your water pipes will start freezing. When I was younger, I lived out in the country in a mobile home, one of those older ones with the 2x2 walls, and we had plenty of heat. We didn't ever have a time when we didn't have heat. but the walls are so thin that sometimes our water pipes would freeze at the sink and stuff, you know. And even with water running, they always tell you water won't freeze if it's running. If it's cold enough, it will. I mean, I've had the water running like it's big around as my little finger. I keep showing. I can see myself in that preview on the. I think I'm on camera, but I'm not. That preview on the camera. So anyway, yeah, I was running a stream. At times, I'd run a stream as big as my little finger. Say pencil, bigger than a pencil, more like a marks a lot, small marks a lot, and it still would froze a couple times in some years. So anyway, I went and I was worried about the washer in the garage freezing first, and then the sink in the kitchen because it's on the north wall. So I went and took the hoses off the washer and set them out the back door and let them drain. And we had water. We didn't run out of water. Some people didn't have water. I don't know if the city water quit, but there was some people that I've watched their channels that were out in the country and their water system froze. I remember that. Of course, I knew it when I saw them putting it in. They're building a house off grid. I knew it was going to freeze if it ever got cold, and they thought I don't know exactly. They moved to Texas from Florida, and they thought it would never get cold enough to freeze it. Well, they found out. I knew it at some point, maybe, I didn't think it would happen this year, next year. I didn't know, but I've seen enough cold winters. We may have winters that are just like spring, and then we may have winters that are the cold in the 20s. Let's see. This year, that really bad winter, I know we were at 5 degrees. Yeah, we were 4 and 5 degrees. I think we actually hit. I don't know if we actually hit 0. And if you're thinking centigrade, that's 0 degrees centigrade, I think, is freezing. 32 is freezing in Fahrenheit, if I remember right. So anyway, if it's 5 degrees or 0 here, well, it's negative 30. It'd be negative 32 degrees to centigrade, if I remember how that works. So anyway, what am I looking at? So yeah, it's just I don't see anything but just power on and power off and all that. But what was interesting is when I first bought the thing, how far does it go back now? Oh, there we go. 5/23/21. Oh, okay, they've rolled off the other side now. They're gone. But it went back to 2011. Maybe this is not the one that went back to 2011. Might be the other one, like the hardware manager. Let's go in there. That might be the one that goes back to 2011, because as far as I know, it hadn't. Last time I looked in it, it hadn't deleted them. While that's coming in, oh, it's already in. Okay. Post message 2020. Now see, that's what was the message? Drive array. Read error occurred, and that was back in 06, 08, 2021. Oh, it just hadn't finished loading. Oh, this is part of one of the things I wanted to. I was the first video about all this. There's that error. Post error 1797 driver array accelerator read error occurred. Now, from looking on the boot screen, I believe that it's just that 1 gigabit cache on the. It's built into the RAID card. And from what I've seen about all that is it's probably. I see it's happening every time. From what I've seen about all that is, it only goes back to 2020 now. So it must delete them after it goes, so many of them. Now that I don't know what that's about. SR detected by system. Anyway, the battery, what I'm thinking is you can view different versions, but that wouldn't help me. I'm thinking the battery might be bad for that. That it has a battery, and that's how it's able to temporarily cache whatever was being written, like say if the power goes down or something. So Linux can handle getting shut down like that pretty well. Even if it gets broken, it'll just fix itself when it gets when you boot it back up. But not every time, but at most all times it will. But anyway, I liked that feature and I want it to work. And I've done some studying on it. I don't remember a lot of it right now, but and really I learned about that battery from Morton on his channel, My Playhouse. But that's one thing I would like to figure out. That's one of the reasons I got in here. I'd forgotten. Okay, so that's showing that it's happening every time it boots. Looks like. What I do now is I run it all the time I'm awake. I just basically, if I'm not working on the computer, I'm just watching videos. Most of my time is spent on the computer. And so when I'm asleep, it's off, and when I'm up, it's on because it gets too hot in here. Because right now it's 79 degrees. It's 70. Well, a while ago it was 75. Now it's 77. So the air conditioner ain't coming on enough to keep me from burning up in here. I opened the window, but it got worse. It's just not cool. It's humid and feels hot out there. No wind. Sometimes if it's not so humid and there's some wind, even if it's 79 outside, it'll feel better with the window open. But it didn't a while ago. Okay, what's it? Here's iLO. Self-test results. Okay. Non-maskable interrupt MMI button. The use of the button may result in data loss. Oh yeah. Generate an MMID system. I don't know what that is. I read about it. It's kind of hard to understand. NVRAM is good. EEPROM is good. Host ROM is good. Supported host. Okay. Power management controller. Version 1.6. CPLD, PALO, Reliant. Okay. Reset. Of course, if I did that, I would lose my connection to it. All active connections will be reset. No configuration changes are made. I don't want to do that. So everything shows green there. I think that actually has to do with getting help from that generate NMI system. Getting help from HP. Of course, it's no longer supported. Even if you are a company that originally bought it, it's out. It's out of support. All right, let's see what the inside agent. I think this is the one that sends reports to them. I think. I don't know what the other thing is. Yeah, this is when you get in touch with HP to get help, and that link don't work anymore. I don't think either one of those links work anymore. They discontinued it for this model. Remote console is pretty cool. I finally figured out how to get this working. Let's see. Yeah, .NET. I kind of fiddled with it a little bit but it was just too hard to get all set up. The Java integrated remote console, that one I did get working. Can't remember. There's certain things. Yeah, no .NET detected, but I do have Java on this virtual machine. This is for. This is what you got to have this up and running if you want to boot from an ISO remotely and stuff like that. Well, let's see what JVM. And I wanted to try that. I wanted to be able to do that. But I didn't ever get to the point to actually boot into an ISO. Here it is. It tells you what you need. Java 6. 3.6 requires Java 6 update 10 or later. I have just a little older than. I have 3.6.28. Maybe they're saying that because it knows what I have. Anyway, I do have the stuff we're using let's see what happens. Let's see. Your Java version is out of date. That's from the browser. Update block later. I might have had it working in Windows XP Virtual Machine before it quit, because I think it was working when I first got this machine. Okay, so no, we're not going to fool with that anymore. And you have to have that up running so that if you want to use virtual media, and that's what I was, which is booting from iSOs and stuff like that. And I just click on you. Yeah, I did, but it didn't happen quick enough, so I messed it up. Now let's see. Yeah, virtual media. It hasn't. It's really weird how this changed up here, but this inside the window doesn't change for a while, and it just throws you off. Yeah, I have seen it load faster than it is doing right now, but I guess this is as fast as it ever loads in ReactOS or in Firefox. In this, oh, what's this? Some plugins used by this page are out of date. Update plugins. I'll trying to get it to open up in a new tab. Oh, maybe this one don't. Oh, I bet this thing don't have tabs like the newer versions. I think I just made myself go off with it. I held down Control and clicked that button. Oh no, it worked. I'm sure it might have opened one up in a new tab. It's doing two of them. I'm afraid it. Yeah, see how it's it acts like it's being overworked, but the machine itself is just fine. The host system is fine. No, I don't get it. It may not open up. It's just not going to respond. Well, I'm not going to fiddle with that. You know what? I think I've already done this a few times. Had that same problem. So, yeah, integrated. Okay, yeah, integrated remote console. Is that the same? Yeah, that's the same place I was already at. I guess when I did that, it didn't. Java integrated remote console. That's the one that I was able to use. Or did I end up going back to where I was? Yeah, when it starts hanging up like that, I get aggravated. I don't want to keep fiddling with it. Yeah, it's. I think oh yeah, I remember what happened. I had it working in my XP Virtual Machine, and then Internet Explorer updated itself and it wouldn't do it anymore. And I was going around and around trying to, go roll it back, and I couldn't get it to do it. And then I ended up using this. So if you get it working in Internet Explorer, turn off updates completely. I mean, this is an old system that you're not going to use for real internet surfing or anything. It's just something you can use to say you ran XP in a virtual machine. That's what I was doing. And you get it to work, and make sure you turn it off. You have to have Java if it's not if it's .5, 5.5, it won't work. It has to be .6 to something. Okay, a virtual media still hasn't gone there. Oh, okay, power. Yeah. So anyway, the boot into the ISOs is hard to get working for me. Well, I've seen Morton go around and around with it too, but he knows so much about it. That's what he does. He's a server admin guy. He works with multi-million-dollar server rooms, and but he loves it a lot, and he does it at home, and he likes to play with the old machines. Basically, that's what I do too nowadays. I used to always want the newest machine, but when I built my first machine, I spent $650 on it, which was a lot in 02 or whenever that was. It was a Pentium 4, And but I used it for years and years, and then ever since then, actually I've never had another new machine. Well, people would give me their, I did stuff for people, my neighbor, do stuff for him. I fix things on the computer and stuff, and help him out and figure something out. Sometimes he'd bring one over and we'd go out in the garage and mess with it. Anyway, he ended up over the years giving me a bunch of computers. Before that, I had about 3 or 4 that were given to me. Another guy I used to know, the guy I was talking about that had the Windows 95 machines back in the 90s. He used to go buy them at secondhand stores and stuff, And see, now it doesn't want to go anywhere. Might help to reload. Now I see it's starting to. I shouldn't have clicked that 5-6 times. It just makes it worse. Yeah, see now I can't. If I was to hit reload, it'd just be another. Oh well, it finally came up. But yeah, server power, power meter, power settings. Those are good ones to look at. And right now it doesn't want to go there because it's still trying to load whatever else I gave it. Let's see if a reload will help. Might not be a good idea, but but it's stuck on that virtual media page. Or the one above it, remote console, that's where it's at. Let me go, while I'm waiting on that to try to come in, I'll go ahead and make sure my stream is still working good. This seems to be quicker to do than going to that stream page. Is it going to work? This seems to be quicker to do than going to that. Yep, it's working. Okay. Yeah, see, I can go open up Firefox and open up pretty quick. And this thing here is hosed now. Okay, so, it's stopped now. It must have got that reload command. Let's see if I can go to a different place. Maybe it'll bring it in. Yeah, there we go. Instead of trying to reload it again. Well, it did try to do it, at least. Power meter, that's where it's going. Yeah, I want to see the other drop-down list, but I think that would interrupt what I'm waiting on here. I really don't understand why it's so slow. Must have to do with either Firefox, ReactOS, or as I'm running about the newest version of Firefox that will work, on this. Remember, this was built in 2011. Actually, the newer versions of Firefox would work, or whatever browser you want to use, if you can get it to get it to let you go where you want to go. They stop you. I know. Internet Explorer started doing it I think he started doing it in 8. If not, there was the next one after that. But I remember my old neighbor who his parents still live next door, but and we still get in touch once in a while. But anyway, he still lives in town. He's just across town, other side of town, not the other side, just about 2 miles away, I guess. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, I would set things up on my server, and I said, hey, go here and look at this video or listen to I've used to sing and write songs, and I recorded a couple albums, so I would send, I might say, here, go look at go watch this or listen to this. It's on my server, or if I was working on something for him, I would put it on my server temporarily for him to be able to see what it was I was doing, And it's finally trying to come in. I think finally got a blue bar over here. It says stopped though. It may still be taking those reload commands. I hit it 3 or 4 times. When you get aggravated, you do dumb stuff. And I'm afraid I would close the browser and open it back up, but I'm afraid that would just make it even worse. Because then you got to start from the beginning of logging in and all that stuff. Maybe the thing to do though. What was I going to say? Oh, he couldn't get to that stuff around that time, and he didn't he didn't want to figure out how to get past it, and he didn't know the things I knew, so he didn't really know what to do, and he's pretty good with computers, and he was real good at setting up email and stuff like that. He used to help people. He liked to help older people with their computers, and he'd set up their systems and their email and all that sort of stuff. But he didn't get into networking or operating different operating systems. I built him he had a laptop that had Windows 7 on it, and something broke it, and he lost it. He didn't know where the license key was. He had 2 laptops that were identical, one for him, one for his wife at the time. At that time, it was his fiance, I guess. But anyway, so I said, well, we can put Linux on it. And anyway, he left it here one time. I told him to leave it here. And I was going to do it with him to show him how to do it, but he's always real busy, and I just went ahead and did it. And so he had it for several years, at least 2 years, maybe more, before he found that key. Oh well, it quit working because it was a Fedora-based distro called Aurora, and I used it because it was kind of like all-in-one. It had everything already set up, all the apps he could want, and I probably put a couple on there. But anyway, it would automatic. I set it to automatic update and all that stuff. But it told him one time he needed to upgrade to a newer version. Tried to do it, and he did something wrong, and it broke it. And so then he ended up finding that key somewhere. So he put Windows 7 back on it. So but he didn't really use it much. He didn't, on his own, like me, I learned all this stuff on my own. I like doing that. But he kind of really needed somebody to show him stuff. I guess a lot of people are like that. I work better by myself. I'll ask for help if I have somebody that would help me and knows how, whatever it is I'm trying to do. Actually, I learned most everything. I graduated high school in '75, and I wanted to go to auto mechanics school, but I didn't. I was in love. I got married, started raising kids, and so I was doing maintenance work. I wasn't into computers I didn't really get into computers until '98. In junior high I took typing, so I knew how to type. But and a guy when I was 75, when I was getting ready to graduate high school, they had like people come and they want you to come to their school or whatever. I don't know. I guess that's all they had. I don't think they had people trying to hire you to a job, but they had people wanting you to come to their school. It was like a special day where representatives would come there. And this guy came there with a PC. And it was cool, but it was a DOS PC. You had to learn the commands. And I just looked, hands down, said, I'll never learn all those commands. I thought it was cool, and I kind of was interested in it. But I wanted to be a mechanic. I wanted to be a drag racer. I wanted to build dragsters. And never. I did have hot rods, but I didn't ever build a real race car. But anyway, in about '92, I had a friend who had Windows 3.1 system, and it could get on the CompuNet or whatever. It was on the internet, and it was interesting. And then the other friend that gave me, he had a laptop that was pretty cool, 3.1 laptop. It ran good too. Anyway, I played with it a lot, and then I didn't have a computer to mess with after that until about '98. This is not loading. Okay, let's try hitting the stop button because I think I gave it too many commands. There we go. That finally worked. It says stopped. Wait for a minute. And try to go. Yeah, if it doesn't show the finger, don't give you the finger, then it's not ready. See, it says it's stopped, but it's not. I must not be completely stopped because it's not. Oh, did it? No, it still ain't doing anything. So you gotta wait. Yeah. See, I went. If it's doing the same thing I said it has done before. If you go through every single menu, it gets tired. There it is. Gave me the finger. Well, here it is. Back to you. All right. I don't like that particular, the finger clicker icon. Okay, now it's trying to go there. I went ahead and clicked on the server power. That was the one I wanted to go to first. I want to see, I always like to look at that, and that'll show you the over time how much power it's been using and stuff like that. And that in administration is where you can actually set stuff. I should have just went to the ones that I really was interested in. I hadn't been in here in so long, I really didn't exactly remember. I was kind of having fun looking through it, but now I'm getting aggravated. I don't know. I would close the browser, but it seems like I've done it before and it really didn't help. I can't remember. I don't know why the browser, I don't know. Let's see. Way back in those days, I remember with Internet Explorer anyway, it would start getting sluggish and all that, and you could tell it to keep more browser cache. I remember I used to always set it on 95 megabytes. I wonder if that's what's going on, is the browser cache is full, and for some reason it doesn't empty it out, you know, fast enough or whatever. See, it's just not bringing anything in. You can't hit stop right now. I guess it is. It's just taking too long. Well, if I get away from it, then at least I won't be so aggravated. We'll see. I'll just give myself another check on my stream. Yeah, see, this is how I have two pages open up in Firefox and in my main machine here. And sometimes when first time you open it up, it's usually slow right after you boot it up. This live studio page is sometimes really slow at coming in itself. It's been pretty good right now, I think. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm not having any problem with my stream. That's good. If you don't check it, then you'll end up with real problems. Yeah, okay. But this will use a lot of resources pretty fast, so I can't leave it running. See, there's nothing being overwhelmed on the machine, this machine. It's just my virtual machine. It stopped, but it didn't go to that page. Okay, well, I'm going to go to closing. I'm going to close Firefox if I can. It's not responding. Isn't that special? Can minimize it. Well, I hit the X several times. I don't think that this virtual machine can handle running another browser, so I'm not going to take that temptation. I think that's the other browser. I don't think it would even do it anyway. I don't think it's the only browser I have now that I think that will work with iLO. But it definitely doesn't want to work. I couldn't go in there and look at the cache settings or anything in here now because it's not responding. And I was thinking about hitting Control Alt Delete and killing it, but I don't know if it's going to do that inside of here or if it's going to, or it's going to try to shut the server down. Either way, I'll just hit it once and then it won't actually reboot the server or anything. So I'm not sure I'm pretty sure ReactOS will bring up that I can't remember what it's called, but the Windows running apps thing, you know, the system menu. It's called something else, but the system menu for like NT would have or XP would have. XP is an NT based system too. But NT, let's see, yeah, it was. I think NT was for enterprise stuff. If I remember right. I've seen a couple of NT systems on a desktop, but I think the whole purpose of it was for enterprise. It wasn't necessarily. It wasn't a server, I don't think. I mean, it could be, I guess, but I'm sure it could, because you could set up a server in XP. I did it back in those days. to learn about servers. But yeah, so it didn't do anything. Maybe those Control-Alt-Delete commands are turned off in this virtual machine. Either that or it's taken forever to do something. This is really getting aggravating. So, yeah, it's not responding. Now the whole thing's not. Yeah, the virtual machine is not running well. So it might be good for me to just restart it, the whole thing. It's not even coming up. I've been giving it commands and it's still trying to carry them out. Yeah, now nothing's working. This machine has this server. You know, it's got plenty of horsepower to HP horsepower. It's got plenty of horsepower to handle this little old virtual machine. It's not a huge resource user. Oh, that's what I can do. Yeah, I'm just gonna let's go here and look at machine. Reset. Well, that's like, I think it's better if you do, actually what I usually do is just hit the X up there. It'll say what do you want to do, and I say power off the machine. That box, it was checked. I hope that didn't mess something up. It said sometimes you don't actually want that to. It said go to the snapshot. Oh, 03, 05, 21. Yeah, you can go to different snapshots. Like if you mess it up, that's the one I'm running. I think I actually ended up having to go back to a different snapshot because something went wrong. So it's down. It was down quick. Oh, maybe it wasn't down after all. It's still running. Well, let's see if that helped it any. Oh, the snapshots open up real quick. I don't know. I don't remember now. But anyway, I'm back to it. Let's see if it'll work. Firefox is gone. It's not running. Maybe that'll make it work. Now that right there, I don't really know why it's doing that. What is it trying to go? Start 3 Mozilla. That must have been the default start page and it's gone now or something. Okay, well I'm not going to fool with it. Now, I don't like that. I was fixing to go try to set it to Google or something, but let's forget that. I'm going to get me a cough drop. And yeah, this is like watching molasses pour out of a jar that's dang near frozen. But it's the only thing I got that'll do this. Actually, the only other thing I can think of is, a Windows operating system. Well, I guess I didn't do it. I have Windows 7 ISOs and plenty of licenses from these old machines. I don't use Windows on anything. That's what I need to do, is pick a license on one of my machines and install it in here. Oh, Windows 7's too new. That's why I didn't do that. It wouldn't work. And XP is what it would have to be. I have XP licenses, but I already have that nice XP Pro machine that got somehow. I was trying to boot it up on my other old machine, and it wouldn't. And I have transferred it to other machines before and had it work, but it's saying it's not activated. You got to activate it, and it just keeps throwing you in a circle. won't do it. So I don't know if they've actually killed XP or what. Okay, let me log in again. Well, that worked. Whatever reason, I mean, I think I broke it and then I went to a snapshot, but that's the only virtual machine I've got that'll do that. I'd forgotten it would do that. Close it down like that, goes down, and then you click, and it says up there that it was a snapshot. And which all I understand is just a snapshot in time of when it was working. You know, well, it might have been working good or it might have been working bad. It's just, it does it automatically. And anyway, I went back and found one that worked. When something happened, something went wrong. I think I might have accidentally updated the Java or the Firefox too new and it wouldn't work anymore. Evidently, that's exactly what happened, because this goes right in. This doesn't ask me all those questions. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? You know, it's like it has two logins now. I guess it never got logged out. Well, let's see if it'll work. If it will, great. And if it won't, then I'll have to. I don't know what I'll have to do really. I have to. Oh, I can go up here and log out. Yeah, I could go up there and log out. Anyway, let's just see if we can get to where we're wanting to go. Now that's working better. I don't think that the iLO little, you know, card at the server is that. Yeah, see, that's how it should look right there. I don't think it's a problem either. You can tell it to automatically power on. Let's see. Oh, yes, no. Yeah, I don't want it to do that anyway. Momentary press. Okay, these are your buttons. You don't want to do them. I'm getting to where I need a break. That's another reason why I'm getting in a hurry. Still doesn't load fast on all pages though, does it? But yeah, that array thing, that's the thing I wanted to find out. So, okay, now here's your power meter, 24-hour history graph. This is really helpful. So the blue is average, the red is peak. Now, see, what is that? I saw it. There you go. 362 is the peak. That's the highest it's ever been there. That is over 24 hours. And in the last 20 minutes, 337. I didn't. I was worried because I kept hearing that fan on the video card running, so I was thinking, man, that thing's getting hot. It's going to be using lots of power. Current state 287. Power voltage 118, 120. The power reading went down to 280. Hour history 5 minutes 276. 20 minutes 284. 24 hours 227. Maximum, that was the average power. Now the maximum, that's not bad at all, especially with such a powerful machine. Maximum power 303 watts, 337, 362. Minimum power 271. So when it's idling, 271, but well over 24 hours, 171. What is it idle at? I'm not sure. Well, over 24 hours, the minimum power was 171. So that must be idle power usage. That was a pleasant surprise to me when I found that out. I thought I was going to be getting something that would be using like 600 watts, very often. Probably run at 500, or something. But like I said, I think there's somewhere where you can maybe change for like long period of time. I think I'm not going to go back there again now because it's not loading very quick. But now this is power settings, dynamic power setting mode, power supply capacity. See, 2750s, that's as much as 1500 watts, and maximum power 471 watts. Not quite sure what that means. I guess that's the most it's ever used, or it will use at 100%. So I guess the maximum it would use, I guess, is 471 at 100%. So for minimum power, 178. It said 171 on that previous one. Disable capping. I don't cap the power usage. That was well, I don't remember what all I might have or might not have changed. Warnings are disabled. I'm not sure why. On breach or power threshold of power threshold. Oh, I thought I was saying breach of the case. Anyway, that's not on. Persistent mouse and keyboard. Yes, that's on. Now, the firmware licensing. I have. It came with an extended license, so that's why I can do so much with iLO. Firmware, administration, access settings, security, network management. I'm going to go to that bottom one and see what it says. Since it's still not coming in real fast. SNMP, forward, insight, agent. That's enabled? That would be going to HP, wouldn't it? SNMP. I can't remember, but it's on. The Insight Manager URL. And a port. Oh, that would be so they can get into your machine. Okay. They could probably get into it. I'm kind of wondering if can they get into it. Looking at that, without me knowing. Of course, they would say they don't do that. But well, I'm not sure about all what that does right there. Don't really remember actually seeing that particular thing right there. It may only be. No, that looks like it could be from the internet, not just local. HTTPS. Oh. Yeah, so get off the page. I've already showed it now. Let's see. Access settings. Probably tell me the thing I was thinking about. That would be where I set it. Only on my local network. I'm dying to have a break now. I have to go, I guess. Anyway, there's the settings. That's security. Oh, okay. I think some of this junk, like those addresses, might not have been the best thing for me to show. Yeah, there's the usernames. That was one thing I didn't want to delete the ones that were already in there in case that was the only way I could do any of this, or if I lost my license because they were assigned to those usernames. Still haven't figured that out. Yeah, there's nothing there that I want to show. I'm actually I just can't go any further. Oh, it actually loaded so fast I didn't. Oh no, it wasn't loaded yet. Yeah, just IP stuff and all that. Well, I'm gonna have to go because I can't. I gotta go. So I'm just going to quit this video. There's really not anything else for me to show on here. All right. Bye-bye.